And I know this is going to sound horrible of me, especially since the conversation that you and I were having earlier.
Uh-huh.
But like in Sailor Moon S, in the anime, when Michiru should have died many times going through all those arrows and all those traps and all those that were set up to get her. She should have died before she actually got to Haruka, before she actually got as close to Haruka as she did. And then when the talisman was revealed to be inside of Neptune, and Uranus killed herself to get the talisman out, I think that was more of the fact that she wanted to die with Michiru than to bring out the talisman herself. That's just me.
There are other ways one can die.
I said more. I didn't say the only reason.
There are other ways one can die if one simply wants to die with one's lover.
That was easy. She had the thing right there.
But I do agree that they are another piece of that destined puzzle. That takes, in my mind, when you're looking at those ships, it does take, even though, you always accuse me of destroying your OTP and destroying the perfection. I would never do it just under the guise of just any old circumstance.
Well, it's like,
in discussions I've had around this, even with other people who tend to ship them just as hard as you do, it comes down to, yes, there is, but there is a certain, but that's a whole, again, another podcast. We are going to tackle the wonderful fanfic topic, and you and I will probably rant for about 3 hours for that one.
Yes, we will.
But it will happen.
It will be entertaining, though, I'm sure.
I am sure. I'm sure that our listeners will just absolutely love listening to us bicker for 3 hours over fanfics.
Part 1, Part 2, Part 5, Part 8 part.
Right. Anyway.
I was going to say something. Well, it's like when at the end of Stars, where Michiru looks, or where they're talking about hell, and she says, "I will follow you anywhere, even to hell."
Yes.
They know it.
They do know that they're destined, and they will be together forever. And their death scene in Stars is admittedly probably the most tragic thing in the series.
That's what I was just thinking about.
Their death scene has got to be so... It's so tragic. I'm not a crier, and it makes me want to cry. And I'm not a crier.
So this doesn't say much, but I cry every time.
You do cry every time. And you are a crier. But there is something about the way that they did their death scene in the classic anime that is just... It's heart-wrenching, and it solidifies that piece that they are meant to be together. And I do know that. I just like to explore and draw and color outside the lines.
No, I think you just like to make my blood pressure rise.
I do not like to make your blood pressure rise. Just because I did that earlier does not mean I like to do that. Love you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
See the abuse I take?
Really?
Really. Love you.
Love you too. Remember your I need to be paid in merch? How much merch did you leave my house with this weekend?
That was Christmas presents. That wasn't payments.
Oh, really? Really? I'm going to take that moonstick I bought you and bop you over the head with it.
I'd like to see you come and get it.
Don't put it past me. Yeah. Anyway, so let's go on to some other ships. Because I'm sure that this will come up again. The next one I've got on our list here is one that
I never want to talk about Haruka Mashiro.
Oh no, never.
My mind just blanked.
The next one that we've got on our list here is Rei and Minako, which actually seems to be a much more common ship than one would have thought. Especially since it's based pretty much solely on this short story that was included in the manga, but it's not technically part of the canon. It's just in a collection of short stories. And then there are art book images that kind of sort of lend to, like, there's hands that are touching, and so people, they go through and they make those connections, those internal connections, and so it's amazing how many people out there actually really do ship Minako and Rei together. And I know we both have a mutual friend or two that ships them together.
I know you're thinking of who I'm thinking of.
I'm sure. But and in a lot of ways, I do see with Rei's fierce personality versus Minako's bubbly personality, but at the same time, her level of dedication and commitment as the leader of the Inner Senshi, I do kind of, I can see it. I can see the appeal of it. Of the fierce, serious high priestess with the bubbly starlet who is, underneath it all, a very dedicated soldier. So, I do see the appeal of it. It's not, people took this little tiny piece and made it a whole ship. So.
Well. The only time that, when I really thought of the ship, and it's just not what all you said, but there's an even bigger piece and I know you don't watch it, which is why I'm bringing it up, in the live action.
Mm-hmm.
They get really close. Minako is more of a outer soldier than she is an inner soldier in this one. She wants to fight alone. She wants to do, her job is to protect the prince. Well, let's just say her job is to protect the princess. It gets kind of
complicated.
Kind of nuts. Princess is kind of crazy. But her job ends up being to keep the princess from coming out. But, yeah, they get really close. There's a few episodes where it's just them doing whatever and them hanging around, and then spoiler alert for a 10-year-old series. She dies Minako dies at the end, and it's Rei that convinces her to get the surgery. It's Rei that really looks like she takes it harder whenever they find out what had happened from Artemis.
Yeah.
So, that's really where I began to actually see it, and that's before I read the short story. I always took the artwork mostly as just it was for artwork, but that's where I actually began to really see it. I don't ship it, but I don't not ship it.
Yeah.
I can take it or leave it.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to go ahead to the next one that's on my side of the list because it goes in conjunction with this one. Because it's, what I see is a lot of times especially when reading fanfic and stuff, when you see that Rei-Nako ship, that Rei and Minako, on the flip side of it, you will see Mikado and Ami ship together. And even though there's less, canon material that supports it, it's still another commonly paired couple because, well, when you ship the one pair of the Senshi, for whatever reason, people want to ship that other pair too. And I see it as that, strong, even though she wants to be very feminine, that strong kind of badass side of the Mikado coming out to complement the very, reserved and demure feminine Ami. So, but I just haven't seen as much evidence to support this one, but it seems to be that popular coupling theory with the Rei Nako ship among, fans and fan fiction and stuff. But for me, I see this one, I can't buy into this one quite as well as I can the Rei and Minako one. I mean, Rei and Minako, I can buy into that. I'm kind of like you. I don't oh my gosh, this is, but at the same time, I don't not ship it. I can see it, I can buy it. When I read them, the stories tend to make sense, but when I read the ones, or I think about, people talking about Ami and Mikado, it doesn't click in my brain the same way. And I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Honestly, I can't really see it either. Now, that being said, I do ship them with the generals, but I don't really ship those two with each other.
Yeah, and that's our next one, and you get that one. So, because I've talked about it before, I've taken the lead on that one before, so it's your turn. So let's lead right into that. Yep, let's lead right into that.
I really don't think there's much more to say than what we said the last time. There's the beautiful artwork that has the generals with the senshi, and then there's that small little tiny couple snippets that you see in Crystal. And I mean, really, it makes sense, because why else were the senshi letting her go down to Earth if they weren't getting to see someone that they wanted to see?
Right. Once she'd been discovered, and they knew what she was doing, they should have stopped her. So what made them not? And a reasonable explanation is that they had a reason to go to Earth too. And so that leads to the connection with the Shitinu, or the generals. And I do say, on the Mikado side, for whatever reason, I really love Mikado and Nephrite together. I don't know why, I just do. I really love Mikado and Nephrite, and our mutual friend is going to kill me for this, but I really love Minako and Kunzite together.
See, those two are my favorite too. Sorry, sweetie, we love you.
We do love you, but I love them together.
They look so good together.
They look so good together, and one of my things is it's that same difference in complementing mentalities of that seriousness versus that bubbly personality, but also that strong dedication to their purpose and that leadership role. To me, it fits. They fit. But obviously, by the basis of who I'm married to, I believe in opposites attract. So that speaks for itself as well.
No comment.
We love Nerds at Night Gaming here.
We wouldn't be podcasting tonight if it wasn't for
Nerds at Night Gaming. We had some technical issues that they helped us work out. So, on to the next one on our list. Do we want to go with the more traditional canon, or the the less traditional canon pairing there?
I don't know, because I know most of yours scare me.
Wait, the next one on my list shouldn't scare you. Just look at my list.
I'm on my list, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm sticking my tongue out at you and you can't see it.
I'm sure. I'm doing something at you and you can't see it.
Remember, we have listeners of all ages, Fandina.
That's why I didn't describe it. You can all use your imagination. It can be whatever you want. I can be giving it a thumbs up.